Welcome back. Maybe you felt it too. Something shifting just beneath the surface. Not loud, not obvious, but enough to make you pause, to notice, to ask yourself, what exactly is changing right now? Like a quiet memory surfacing without warning, or a familiar feeling you can't quite name, something that once mattered deeply, a missed opportunity, an unresolved connection, or even a forgotten part of yourself seems to be stirring again. In today's video, we're going to take a closer look at April 10th, an important moment in the cosmic rhythm, especially for you, Scorpio. Some of the slowest and most transformative planets in our sky are beginning to form alignments that suggest one thing. What was once left behind may now be finding its way back, but not as a repetition, as something more complete. So if there's something in your life you thought was over or something you've quietly been waiting to return, know this: it may never have been truly gone. It was simply being reshaped, refined, and timed to meet you in the version of yourself you've become. And in the next part, we'll dive into why this moment is especially meaningful for you and what signs to look for as the past gently begins to re-enter your life in a whole new form. And as that door begins to open, you might not recognize it right away. It may not announce itself loudly. Instead, it comes in the form of a subtle shift in your thoughts. A certain topic keeps resurfacing in your mind. A name you haven't spoken in years suddenly appears on your screen, in conversation, in memory. Or maybe it's a project, a dream, something you once cared deeply about, coming back into focus piece by piece. These aren't coincidences, they're signals. In the days following Mercury's shift in motion, the fog that's lingered emotionally, mentally, begins to thin. And as it does, what once felt distant becomes reachable. Conversations that were once too hard to have may now feel possible. A job or opportunity that slipped through your hands could quietly re-enter the picture. Or maybe the change is more personal, a part of yourself that you set aside to survive, to cope, to meet others' expectations is beginning to stir again. And Scorpio, here's the truth. This moment isn't about chasing something that left. It's about receiving what returns to you now because you've grown into someone who can actually hold it. That's the key difference. You're not just revisiting an old story. You're meeting it from a new place. Wiser, more grounded, more in touch with what matters. And you feel it, don't you? That quiet certainty that this time you're ready in a way you weren't before. Because unlike others, you don't need dramatic proof to know when something real is happening. Your intuition is your compass. You feel the current shifting before the wind ever moves. And right now, that current is turning toward restoration, not to repeat the past, but to redeem it. So if you've been sensing something returning, not just in the outer world, but deep inside, you're not imagining it. The timing is different now. And more importantly, you're different now. What comes next will depend on your willingness to meet this moment with presence and honesty. Because what's making its way back, whether it's a person, an idea, or a lost sense of self, is doing so for a reason. And it's not asking for who you were. It's meeting who you are now. In the next part, we'll explore how these returning energies might take shape in your life through relationships, career, purpose, and even your own emotional resilience. Because this isn't just about what's coming back, it's about how you're going to receive it and what you choose to do with it next. Shall we step into that together? What's returning to you now isn't simply a fragment of the past. It's something that has evolved alongside you. It may look familiar on the surface, a name you used to write down in old journals, a passion you once poured your heart into, a connection that felt unfinished, unresolved. But if you look closer, you'll see it's not what it once was, and neither are you. If a relationship that once ended is finding its way back into your life, it's not here to reopen old wounds. It's here to reflect where you've grown, to reveal whether the two of you have truly evolved individually and together. The test is not whether the love still exists. It's whether it now exists with depth, with understanding, with mutual truth. Not everything that returns is meant to stay. What stays now will need to be real. And if a dream, one you had to set aside long ago, begins to stir again, don't dismiss it. Don't assume it's a trick of nostalgia. The desire may be the same, but the you who's dreaming it is not. You've weathered uncertainty, disappointment, delay. You've built resilience quietly in all the moments no one saw. So if that dream is resurfacing now, it's because you're no longer just hoping for it. You're capable of holding it. You're no longer reaching for what you once wanted. You're aligning with what you're finally ready for. That's the shift. You see, this isn't about picking up where you left off. It's about stepping into a new layer of something that never fully left you. It waited until you became someone who could meet it with clarity, with discernment, with the strength to say either, yes, I'm ready now, or no, I've outgrown this. Because Scorpio, when things return during a time like this, it's never random. The frequency has changed. What's making its way back is doing so at a pace that matches who you are now. Slower, more grounded, more aware. There's no rush. There's only resonance. And that resonance is your invitation to move forward, not by discarding your past, but by letting it become part of something wiser, more complete. In the next part, we'll explore exactly how this energy of return might appear in your life, especially in your relationships, career path, and your sense of personal power. Because what's coming back isn't meant to keep you in place. It's meant to move you forward into a new kind of alignment. Let's go there next. Recent alignments, especially the conjunction between Venus and Saturn, have brought a different kind of energy into your emotional world. One that isn't here to stir drama or heighten desire, but to ask deeper, more honest questions about how you give and receive love. And this isn't about surface level attraction or fleeting chemistry. It's about the kind of love that endures because it's rooted in something real. You may find yourself rethinking certain relationships right now, not out of bitterness or detachment, but from a place of clarity. You're beginning to notice what truly supports you and what simply fills space. The emotional pull you once felt toward people who couldn't meet you fully, it's losing its grip. And in its place, a quieter longing is rising for connection that feels solid, mutual, and true. That shift can feel unsettling at first, especially if you've spent years loving with your intensity, giving with your whole heart, even when the return wasn't the same. But this new phase of your emotional life isn't asking you to give less, it's asking you to give differently. Now, love is being filtered through maturity, through patience, through choice. You're no longer interested in chasing closeness just to avoid feeling alone. You're not trying to prove your worth through effort or sacrifice. Instead, you're starting to ask, who actually meets me where I am? Who shows up with presence, with consistency, with depth? And perhaps more importantly, who do I become when I stop settling for less than that? These are the quiet questions shaping your heart right now. And under Venus turn influence, the answers don't come all at once. They arrive slowly through reflection, through noticing, through small shifts in what you tolerate and what you no longer do. But make no mistake, this is love evolving, not into something colder or more distant, but into something more grounded, more sacred. And as this shift continues, you may find that the relationships being drawn towards you now are different. They may not look dramatic or wildly romantic, but they feel safe, supportive, honest. And if someone from your past reappears now, it won't be about repeating the old story. It will be about asking, can we do this in a way that's real this time? Can we choose each other, not out of habit or fear, but out of shared growth? This is where the emotional landscape deepens. And in the next part, we'll explore how your outer world, your path, your purpose, your power is beginning to mirror the strength that's quietly taking shape within you. So take a moment, breathe, and notice what's been quietly resurfacing in your world. Maybe it's the old idea that used to light you up before life got too noisy. Maybe it's someone who, for better or worse, still carries a piece of your story. Or maybe it's a version of yourself, a voice, a strength, a certainty that you thought had faded but is now returning slowly and silently, like muscle memory finding its rhythm again. The invitation here isn't to run toward the past with open arms. It's to meet what's returning with presence, with the eyes and heart of the person you've become, not the one you were back then. It's okay to feel unsure, to wonder whether you're ready. That's natural. But readiness doesn't always feel like confidence. Sometimes it just feels like quiet honesty, a whisper that says, this still matters to me. Or this time, I know better. You don't need to figure it all out right now. What you do need is trust. Trust that what's finding its way back isn't doing so by accident, and trust yourself enough to choose freely, clearly, without rushing. Some things are returning to be reclaimed. Others are returning so you can release them with love. Both are acts of healing. Both are part of your forward movement. So stay close to your truth. Let go of the version of you who needed everything to be perfect. This next chapter isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be present, awake, willing to show up with the depth and softness that comes from living fully. You didn't rush this. You didn't force it. You lived through it. You moved through uncertainty, through silence, through stretches of time that felt unclear and unresolved. You kept walking, sometimes slowly, sometimes with doubt, but always forward. You made space for the unknown, sat with questions that had no answers, and continued on without needing everything to make sense. And that's exactly why now, as things begin to return, both around you and within, you're not overwhelmed. You're steady. It doesn't feel loud. It feels aligned. What's returning doesn't ask you to hold on with urgency. It asks you to receive it with calm, with boundaries you've earned, with softness that's been refined by time, and with a heart that no longer needs to prove anything. Because the version of you standing here now isn't looking to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. And from that place, everything that comes back to you carries a different weight, a different meaning, a different purpose. This return may not just be a person or a project. It may be you, your voice, your clarity, your presence, a part of yourself that had to go quiet for a while so that you could survive, so that you could tend to what was urgent. And now, as the noise begins to fade, that part of you is coming back. Not to bring you back to the past, but to carry you forward with a strength you didn't have the last time around. You're reconnecting with confidence, with love, with belief in yourself, but this time it's rooted, it's mature, it's real. So if something within you pauses, if your breath catches, or your chest feels still, or your intuition speaks in a way that's hard to explain, trust that. It's not nostalgia, it's not imagination, it's return. But not for repetition, for rebirth, for beginning again from the ground you've earned with every step. This isn't just a return, Scorpio. This is a rebirth, and it starts with you. So as we close today's message, I want to remind you of something simple but true. You didn't imagine the loss, and you're not imagining this return. What's finding its way back to you now, whether it's clarity, connection, or a deeper part of yourself, is doing so because you're ready. Not perfect, not finished, but ready in the way that matters most. Honest, aware, and open. Hey, this isn't about going back. It's about moving forward with what was always meant to be part of your story, just not until now. So walk gently through the days ahead. Notice what stirs you. Honor what feels real. And trust that what's returning is not here to test you, but to meet you. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message resonated with you, I hope you carry it with you, not just as insight, but as a quiet confirmation that your path is unfolding beautifully and intentionally, one step at a time. Until next time, Scorpio, stay grounded, stay true, and trust the timing of your life.